I'm sitting here on the business with Robert McGee. It's good to have you, Rob.
Hey, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. So you are the owner and founder of Run It Back Gaming.
Yep.
And I love what you guys have been doing in the gaming scene and the
Thank you.
community. One of my dreams as a kid was like to be a pro gamer and stuff
Yep.
like that. So for you to be able to put people on and just accelerate and facilitate that space for people, I think it's really amazing. So kudos and
Thank you. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Long way to go, but we've definitely come a long way in 4 years too. So really happy with the team's growth so far, both as a business and with our members too. Everyone's quote unquote leveling up at a nice pace. So it's great to see.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So what was your initial inspiration for starting it?
My initial inspiration was early on, like everyone else, I had the dream of being pro gamer. Focused in actually the first game I competed in was like Rainbow Six, like the original.
Oh, yeah.
I actually joined a team. It was myself, a guy from California, and two guys that were over in Europe somewhere. And that was my first taste of it. We actually won the league that we were in. It was really cool, but it was really, really hard, like practicing with them. So it didn't really last very long. Started playing Street Fighter myself, like never really won any like majors or anything like that. But, I felt like I was competent, made it out of pools, made some top 64s, some 16s. And then as I got older, as family gets in the way, professional obligations, my time for gaming started to go down, but my passion didn't. And obviously my skills aren't there as they used to be. I don't have enough to practice, but that desire to help esports grow is what led me to do this, particularly with some of my teammates. And that's where we're at today, is just taking a focus of what it actually means to be a professional in esports. Going from saying you want to be the best to actually putting the steps in place to being the best, understanding how being a professional also means that you have to be an adult in some places where, when you look at some of the gaming pots that are out there, particularly like Street Fighter or some of the games that aren't Fortnite, that aren't handing out $1 million prizes,
right?
If you were to have a good year, you could win $40,000, $50,000 in that 1 year. Can you live off of that?
Right.
Can you live off it next year when you don't make $40,000 to $50,000? Because that's not guaranteed.
Right.
Just because you won once and you're at the top of the hill doesn't mean you have to stop grinding. You have to put in that practice to make sure that you don't get passed up. And then also building a brand, not for just Run It Back, but for yourself as well, so that people want to support you. So people want to buy your merchandise, so that you can actually start to become a brand that's capable and marketable on your own right. And then trying to use my networking that I've, or my networking pool and resources that I've grown over the years, to translate that to some of the players to get them signed with bigger companies like, Red Bull or your Cloud9, your NRGs, your FaZe, wherever they want to go. I start to build plans with them to say, what, if this is where you want to end up, you don't want to be with me forever, which, honestly, I don't blame anyone that doesn't, but let's get you where you want to be. Let's start making sure we use those resources and get you to where they want to be.
Definitely. Yeah. And that's like where coaching, I think, becomes like a learning experience for yourself and like for the other person too, because it's like you don't really know how much you know about something until you try to teach it to somebody else.
Right.
And then it's just like, and then you're picking up little gems from them and they're picking up gems from you, and it's just like this like feedback loop that is like infinite and like has like infinite potential too, right? So it's really cool. And I know Jabril, like I know a lot of those guys like Paris, Malik. And it's just like really cool to see like how you guys have transitioned and grown throughout the years with that, and I'm just really excited to see more of it. So just to piggyback off of that is, I want to make sure that they're successful in everything that they do. You brought up Paris. I want to make sure that when he has music that's coming out or he has a project that he's excited about, that RIB supports him in a way that's meaningful too. We have a lot of people that do music in our organization, and I've pushed them, to
see if you can learn from each other. See what you can you can take from each other. See, if you can learn from each other's experiences and things of that nature, just to make sure that everyone's growing and everyone's able to support each other. I know the support isn't always readily available. We all have lives and things of that nature, but I think that as long as we're putting it out there into the atmosphere of, hey, we are a team, we are a community, let's make sure that we support each other the best we can, it ends up working out.
Definitely. And that's where like it becomes that like learning experience, but it becomes like a community learning experience too. Like we're all going together. I know you guys just went out to Chicago, right?
Right.
Mortal Kombat
tournament. Combo Breaker, yeah. So Combo Breaker, massive tournament. It was the first time that we went. This is our second year going.
Okay.
First year we took, I want to say it was like 11 people. Mm-hmm. We doubled that this year. We were at 22. Mm-hmm. Had some really good placements. Everyone had a really good time. It was a great learning experience. The biggest thing outside of the placements was there was a lot of networking. Just hearing about, how much Paris ingratiated himself with the MK community, how much our Tekken players are well known and established, and people want to be around them. People want to learn from them. People like Donnell and Justin and Strider. Just seeing how the community interacts with them was really, really special. I know there were some people that didn't get the results that they wanted on the team, but that's also that's part of the journey. That learning curve is, everyone wants to do well, but what happens when you don't? Can you show yourself that you can get over that hurdle? It's not always about showing everyone else. Showing yourself how far you can actually go.
Right, and that's kind of what Paris said. Like he said, he didn't do the best, but like he made the most of the experience, and that's like what you need, I think, to not only just be like a professional, but to elevate yourself. Like you've got to take those losses. Like we were talking about the Magic tournament I was in, like in Pittsburgh. I had to take those losses. I had a couple misplays, but it was at the end of the day, it was a learning experience for me. It's not like I kicked rocks on the way home, but like I just was like, next time I got to do better.
Right.
And just taking those L's, with a sense of stride, with a sense of perseverance.
Right.
And all those things that not only just make you a better gamer, but it makes you a better person in general.
Right, and that's because most of the games that we foster, when someone tells me they want to compete in a game, I don't tell them no. I was like, you know what? If there's not a competitive scene, let's see if we can build it. Let's make it happen. So I want to make sure that the competitive drive they have isn't diminished in any way that at least from my standpoint, I want them to be able to do that. But I can't coach anyone on our team in their game. Right. Most of these players play games that I have very little experience in myself, or I used to play it and I don't have a lot of the tech that's come out or any of that. But there's an experience there that I've done a lot over the years that I want to make sure that they are cognizant of. Hey, I know that I'm not playing the game that you're playing right now, but I've been where you're at. In my experience and the people that I've been around, these are the notes that I can give you to help you get over that hurdle. And that's kind of where I see myself. It's just like being an overall coach, because I can't coach any of these guys in the games they play because they're all way better than I'll ever be.
Right. And that's where you're kind of like more the facilitator, coordinator of all that. And it's just kind of, like I said, providing that space for people. And I look back to when I was younger, when you're younger, like a lot of us, don't think at least had a lot of opportunities like this. So it's like just providing that opportunity is just setting the next generation up for success. And hopefully, that generation will set up the next generation.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's just like a distribution of resources, it's a distribution of knowledge, and just, building that community of gamers, establishing that in Youngstown, which is huge.
Exactly, something we don't have.
Right. Yep. Exactly. So, what would you think like some of your biggest challenges throughout the years that you've experienced?
Outside of financials, I think that's always a challenge of not only earning the money but making sure we're spending it in the right places. But early on, it was credibility. A lot, like we've been working with Trolley, the gummy worm people, for just over 3 years now. They're phenomenal. Like they are one of the best partners ever, in my opinion. But like we host tournaments on their behalf, $100 prize pool, free entry. And even now, after we've been doing this for 4 years, we've given away over $50,000 in prizes between them and Matcherino. And people are like, hey, is this real?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I sign up for this, are you going to scam me? I'm like, no.
Right.
No. And like, so it's still like fighting that battle of like just.
It's hard to believe it.
Yeah.
Like,
it's hard for people to believe that we're doing something for free, that, you know, there is monetary value. You know, there's not a gotcha moment where, you know, you sign up, you lose. Hey, we're expecting $5 from you or anything like that. You know, it's nothing like that. But yeah, that's one of the biggest hurdles. And I would say the last probably piece of the pie is managing growth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have 34 players signed right now. You know, when it comes contract time, you can't keep everybody. You know, right. There's people that want to come in. You have to manage that. And then there's people that want to come in that I can't afford. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's, do I cut people so that I can't afford them, or, you know, do I just say, hey, you know, sorry, you know, maybe we can work out something else. Maybe we can do something else. So, outside of that, those are probably the biggest challenges that we have. The credibility, which still kind of puzzles me a little bit.
We live in a mistrustful area too.
Yeah,
like, I think the whole Rust Belt region, even Michigan, Detroit. Like, I feel like a lot of people have like a half a chip on their shoulder, because I won't say that like everybody's really like that, but at least to a front. Yeah, you know what I mean. We have a lot of like paranoia and stuff like that. Like, oh, we don't trust the government. We don't trust this. We don't trust that. And like sometimes with good reason, but it's just like you have to kind of, I think, touch people's hearts. You know, in some way, and then. In education, you know, like there was a TED talk, and this lady, she said, like, you can't teach anybody if they don't trust you, if you don't have an established relationship with them. So I think that that's like one of those biggest things, and it also depends on your relationship with yourself. You know, if you don't have the best relationship with yourself, and you have some of those moments where you lose or you're taking a loss or things like that, it's going to be harder to overcome that and learn from that, where if you do have that sensitive relationship with yourself, your good communication with yourself, you can be like, oh, you know, like, we'll do better next time. So it's like it's a lot of that. And as an educator, I know how hard it is, and I was a manager before that at multiple restaurants, so like I know managing, coordinating people can be really tough. So I mean, kudos to you again for that.
And I want to give credit to my players too, because, you know, they're, you know, when they're out at tournaments, they're recognized. They always speak kindly of the organization. I solicit their feedback all the time. Right. We try to do 1 to 2 charity drives a year. Mm-hmm. We've done the Salvation Army, which was 2 years ago when my mom passed. She was really big with the Salvation Army, so I wanted to do something in her honor. Right. And then last year we did Extra Life, Akron Children's Hospital. Both of them we raised. Akron Children's Hospital, $2,500, and there was like $1,700 and some change for Salvation Army. Not massive amounts, but definitely, you know, we're just trying to do our part. Make sure we take care of, you know, of Northeast Ohio. I know that we do a lot of stuff online, but Northeast Ohio is very, very important to me, and I want to make sure that we're doing our best there. So the challenges that come with it, I do welcome them. Mm-hmm. Again, they do puzzle me from time to time, but, you know, seeing our players out there, and honestly seeing how people in the community react to my players. I went to a Smash tournament in Canton at the Hall of Fame this past weekend, Gridiron Gateway, and you know, it seemed like people really were excited to talk to my players, excited to talk to me. So that was welcoming. So they're all small pockets. Like most of the annoyances that I brought up earlier, you know, is this a real thing? You know, those have definitely died down over time, but it's still out there for sure. But yeah, just continuing to stay diligent and putting the belief in my players. Yeah, because I brought them in for a reason. I really believe in what they do, so there's no reason to stop doing that.
For sure. So throughout the years, what are some of your highlights then? Like, would you say? Favorite moments, favorite tournaments, maybe favorite like audience interaction? Somebody came up to you or something like that.
Definitely Combo Breaker this year. The Combo Breaker this year, seeing the team come together, that was the most of my teammates I've had in one location for more than like 3 hours.
Yeah.
You know, so that was really cool, seeing the team interact with each other. You know, it's really, really comforting because when people come in to run a back game, I have a sit down interview with them. I want to make sure that I can get the best read on them that I can. They can get the best read on me, that they can feel out the company. So when I brought these 22 people together and seeing them all gel instantly and talk to each other, some people that come from Philadelphia, some of my players in Wisconsin, in parts of Ohio that they've never talked to each other before, you know. So even though we have players in Cleveland and Akron that have never met each other, but they all come to this location, and just seeing everyone having an absolute blast, that is definitely my highest point. Seeing it all come together.
You guys look like you had a blast.
Oh, yeah, it was wonderful.
And like it was Paris's first time in Chicago.
Yeah.
And so like we talked about that on our interview, and he was just like excited to see that. And like Chicago's my favorite city, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like I just like the metropolitan kind of like spread open, like not everything's tight and clustered.
Yeah.
So just being able to provide that opportunity for people, because I'm sure Paris wasn't the only person who never been there.
The only thing I wish I would have been able to do more is to get people out into the city. But it's hard enough to get 22 people to do the same thing at once. So when I got them there, the first night was Thursday. I said, everyone's going to chill. Like no requirements today. Friday was our first day at the venue. I said, team pictures the only thing that was required today. And then that was really it. I really said, these are the only organization duties you have to do outside of, show up to your bracket. Please make sure you play. But when we got there on Thursday, Friday, Saturday is the event, Sunday's the last day. Some people were going home. Like there's not a lot of time to get in. I know some people had planned to go into the city because we had the location I selected was like right by one of the transit stops. Yeah. But it's like even then, you're taken into this town 20 minutes. You're there for like an hour and a half and then come back. Yeah. That's kind of tough for 22 people, particularly with some of the brackets were running late. Some people didn't start till like 8 p.m., and then you had other people that are playing at 11 a.m. So it's really tough to get everyone together. So I wanted to say, if you want to go, great. I can't organize any more than that. And then Saturday we had a team event at a place called Eternium. Shout out Eternium. They did great for us. Pool hall, bowling alley, arcade. It was a really, really fun time. So
that's excellent. Yeah, I'm glad you guys were able to do that. Yeah. So, is there anybody else you want to shout out during this time? Like, did you have any mentors or people that kind of guided you along the way, or did you figure a lot of this out on your own? Or
as far as mentors, there's not a whole lot that have mentored me in this space.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of figuring out on my own, but there's been a lot of people that have helped, like Malik Davin, who has recently left the organization. He's got some stuff to go on, but he did a lot with us for 4 years. My head of security, Dan, Nick, my director of fighting game operations, Lance, my director of first person shooters, the whole team in general, Mike, one of my Discord mods and server mods, really good friend. I've been able to count on him for anything I needed when I was, when I had to step away. And then, like I said, the whole team in general, there's too many people to shout out, but I really appreciate it. But I definitely want to make sure that the people that have been here from the beginning, doing the most, particularly with their community manager roles, helping out run tournaments, they've really made this possible for me because, in the beginning, I really thought I can do a lot of this on my own. And as we started to grow, I quickly found out that it's just not going to happen. So the people that I was able to delegate to, I really appreciate you stepping in. Hollow, one of our longtime commentators, Shawnee, one of our longtime commentators for Tekken. Really appreciate you guys stepping in, and hopefully, we'll be able to get Paris back in the booth for Hit Confirmed if Mortal Kombat ever gets its act together.
Right.
So OhioFGC.com too. It's a collection of Ohio TOs that really make fighting games in Ohio worthwhile. So definitely check that out. If you are any part of Ohio, Youngstown, Toledo, Cleveland, Dayton, Cincinnati, anywhere, OhioFGC.com will definitely get you to your nearest hub of fighting games and whatever tournaments are happening near you. If you want to play fighting games with us, right now we do Street Fighter 6 every Friday at 9 p.m.
Yeah, Run It Back Gaming, guys. And Ohio FCGO.
OhioFGC.com.
OhioFCG.com.
Yeah, fighting game community.
Yep. Fighting game community.
Yep.
.com. So check them out, and it's just nice to have those networks
Right.
that are already pre-established. You don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. Sometimes there's people who've been doing it longer and just networking and finding those organizations, stuff like that. Really so moving on now. So what other events you got coming on? I know you said that every other Wednesday at the Westside Bowl.
Yeah. So we did run Mario Kart at Westside Bowl for a while. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, Trolley wanted to change things up a little bit. They wanted to focus less on in-person events. Then also there was some personal stuff that came up on my end, so I wasn't able to hold that obligation. But yeah, so starting July 17th, every Wednesday, Malik will be head TOing for what we're calling, let me make sure I get the name right, Bowl and Brawl, because it sounds like bowling ball.
Yeah, Bowl and Brawl.
So Bowl and Brawl, it's a casual meetup from 5 to 9 every other Wednesday. We'll have a rotating bracket. I believe the first one will be Street Fighter 6. Not 100% sure. Please don't yell at me if that's wrong, Malik. So it'll be Street Fighter 6 one week, and then the next week that bracket will be Tekken 8. But even though you're not there, maybe you don't play Tekken and you are a Street Fighter guy, there will always be Street Fighter to play. There will always be Guilty Gear Strive to play. If you have a game that you'd like to bring up, I know someone said they wanted to bring Dive Kick or King of Fighters. More than welcome to bring it. So definitely want to have as many people as possible come hang out. Play some fighting games at Westside.
Yeah, and Westside Bowl is just a great venue.
It really
to
is.
Be able to have any kind of like auxiliary event. They have a perfect space for it.
Yep.
They have multiple areas that you can do things. I appreciate you guys opting to sponsor the festival there too. So
yeah, absolutely. In addition to the festival, I'm going to try and make an appearance myself. Yeah. I know that Malik and Paris Malik will be there. Paris is performing. Yeah. I'm not sure if any of the other players will be there at this time because I haven't had a chance to talk to them yet. Mm-hmm. But really excited to do the block party again.
Yeah.
I think that's coming up August 17th is the
August
block
17th,
party.
Yep.
And then I don't know this for sure, but I'm assuming the Penguin City Christmas party might be back on. So
yeah, that was a lot of fun. I went to that last year, and then I went to the block party too. Brandon and those guys are amazing, and Penguin City is another great venue.
Yeah,
just open space, and they're kind of just like here.
Yeah, so for block party right now, we're looking at bringing a couple things that we weren't able to fit in last year. Thinking about maybe doing an air guitar contest with Rock Band 3 or Rock Band 4. So definitely some ideas that we're kicking around. Just to put some additional beer money in people's pockets.
Right, and I think that's just like fun to have that dynamic too, like because you have serious games that people want to play. It's like a little bit more sweaty, quote unquote, and then you have Connect 4, which can kind of get sweaty in its own way.
Yeah, it gets so the beginning rounds of Connect 4, most people are they're having a good time and playing. Once you get the first and second round, it's a little sweaty,
right?
Which I enjoy.
Yeah, definitely. Because some people got it on lock. It's like math to them. And it's just like
exactly.
Boom, boom. In the rock paper scissors tournament, you guys did 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, it'll be 3 years ago now. But yeah, rock paper scissors. I would love for it to make a return at some point. I don't know exactly when that's going to be. Yeah. But yeah, that was a lot of fun too. So
yeah, no, I think Malik won.
He did. He took second place.
Yeah, he got second place that one.
Maybe he won. I don't remember. First or second. He was top 2 for sure.
But it's just cool seeing that kind of stuff because, like I said, when I was younger, I never really envisioned, all that stuff being able to happen. I mean, sometimes I would see it on TVs in bigger cities and stuff like that, but just bringing that to Youngstown again is amazing. So
yeah, trying to bring in as much as we possibly can, within reason. One thing I don't like to do is to make promises I can't keep. So I try to keep it reasonable, but I want to push the envelope where I can too. So
100%. Yeah, I was appreciative having you on, Robert. So,
absolutely.
Yep. And this has been The Business.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, no problem.